Hey guys, it's Chef Andy. Today we're going to be doing a BLT, so we're going to start by making a homemade ranch, which is really just mayo, sour cream, and I'm going to be adding some extra things. So I'm going to add about a cup of mayo and about 2 cups of sour cream. And I'm going to add some dried chives. And since we're doing BLTs, I'm going to throw in some bacon bits just to be a little dangerous. I got some garlic powder here. I'll throw that in there. I'm eyeballing this. That's typically how I run my ranch, just because you never quite know. There's no exact recipe for ranch, especially homemade ranch. You want to make it however you want to make it. So you might need to add a little mayo, you might need to add a little sour cream. You want to get it nice and whipped like that. Once you get that, that's how I like it. Today I'm going to be using 2 different types of breads. I'm going to do a white bread and I'm going to do a sourdough. Personal preference, sourdough is king. Before I do that though, let's go ahead and deal with the lettuce. So we just got some arugula. It's a bacon, lettuce, and tomato. All of these options are how you want to make them. Again, personal preference, arugula. So I'm gonna add some oil, a splash of some white vinegar, just a splash. Some salt, a little bit more. Give it a toss. A little pepper. Mix it with your hands. I'll have to change my gloves after this, but it'll be worth it. This is just a way of making it not so boring. Bacon, lettuce, and tomato doesn't have to be a piece of lettuce with 1 tomato and some bacon. I got this beautiful ripe tomato that I'm gonna cut up today. Just gonna go down like that. I'm gonna do a thick slice. Can't miss out on the tomato. So the next step, and the last step before we hit the griddle, is just adding some of this beautiful garlic herb melted butter I made earlier. So we're just gonna put some on there. And this is another way of just, making this recipe a little bit more interesting. When I see people make bacon, lettuce, and tomatoes, it's just the same boring thing. So the butter that I made is it's pretty simple. I mixed in some basil, some Italian seasoning, really whatever herbs you want to add. It's just about making the toasted bread a little bit more interesting to eat. Not that toasted bread with butters, if there's anything wrong with that. It's just nice to change things up sometimes. And I think this is really going to complement, especially once we add that homemade ranch. Let's head out to the griddle. It already smells so good. I'm a fiend for bacon though. Always have been. And again, I'm utilizing that metal bar that's in the center of this griddle, right here, where I'm able to control the heat on both sides. So on this side, I'm gonna keep it a little bit at a medium heat. I got a low heat going right now to prep for the bread, which I'll throw on here in a little bit after this bacon gets going. All right, now that this bacon's starting to get a good little cook, in an effort to try and get it out at the same time, I'm gonna go ahead and throw down this bread. We got both sides coated in that beautiful herb butter. Move it around so you'll be able to pull it up later. Got that sourdough right there. Here's the white bread. This bacon is looking good. I like my bacon extra crispy. What about you guys? Especially on a sandwich like this, we're gonna have the soft texture of the bread, the lighter texture of the lettuce, of course the juiciness of that tomato. So I want a good crunch today. So So I'm gonna let this sit a little bit. All right, I think this bacon's good. Set it on here, let it drain out a little bit. Some of these are still going, but you can at least pull a couple. Just keep an eye on your bread. You don't want it to burn. You want that beautiful GBD color, golden brown delicious. It's not quite ready yet. I'm finding that sourdough takes a little bit longer to toast up the way I want it. Might switch these around. Got it a little hotter on this third burner. All right, let's set that to the side. Now I'm gonna cut this side of the burner off. Keep this going. That's what I'm looking for right there. You hear that? That's what you want to hear. That's a good crust. I'm gonna pull these. And I'm gonna let them cool just for a moment. All right guys, so I let the bread cool down a little bit, and I'm gonna hit it with that ranch first. Not too much. You don't want to take away too much of the flavor. Just a little dollop on each side. Maybe a little bit extra on that on the sourdough, just because it's kind of bigger. Spread that around. I feel like that's probably the perfect amount right there. We're getting double bacon action today with those bacon bits from earlier that I put in the ranch. This thing is going to be bacon fans' dream. All right. Why not? Just a little bit more on these edges. All right. Assembly. We are going to do our lettuce first. It's what we would call a bed of lettuce. And over here, some of that on here. Maybe not that much. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Each one of these guys gets one tomato, nice and thick. And then we gotta do this bacon. Come on now. Ooh. So I got a grand total of about 2.5 pieces of bacon on each of these. And this one's just for snacking. That's beautiful. Okay. Let's give the king its crown. Bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Chef Andy style. All right, I'm gonna go in for the kill. This is on a new level. I've made this before, but I didn't do the herb butter, and it changes everything. You have got to try this. It's got a perfect crunch with the bacon, juiciness of the tomato. Come on! Y'all, you need to lock me up, because this is criminal. I'm not even f***ing around. That shit is good as